Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome into WarRedGoldTV.com Sunday morning. And Auburn officially has a new head football coach. It is Alex Golesh from the University of South Florida. Brian Brinsfield is with us to discuss that a little bit. And Brian, I'll give you my take and certainly want to hear yours. But I
Can
was
I can I
thinking
get you to repeat who it is?
Alex Golesh.
Okay.
It's a
All
name we've
right.
heard. It's a name we've heard in
Okay.
college
Okay.
football. No
You've heard
question
it.
about it.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But with the early Sunday morning meeting after a competitive game against Alabama, another
Yeah.
game we should have won, but um, I was thinking I was leaning toward DJ Durkin was going to get the deal, but it's Alex Golesh. I think they're 9-3 in the American Athletic Conference this year. They beat the Florida Gators 18-16. He's had some good wins. He was a Josh Heupel disciple, as you mentioned a second ago off the air. Joined Heupel at Central Florida, went to Tennessee, I think, for a year as offensive
That's
coordinator
correct.
or co-offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
and that's a little bit of his background. So, but my take is DJ Durkin, if he stays, if he's offered the defensive coordinator position for 26 and he stays, he could keep some of these guys on the roster, and that's probably what John Cohen is thinking. On the other hand, if he doesn't stay, and there's going to be a lot of openings in college football, and maybe even if he stays, because he's not the head coach, John Cohen could have created mass chaos in the Auburn football building with the transfer portal. So I'd love to know your thoughts on this interesting hire on Sunday morning.
Yeah. Well, I think you brought up a lot of great points and a lot of the points that I would make. I wasn't real familiar with Golish. I've gone back and looked a little bit, and like you said, he was at Tennessee in a year that they broke a lot of records offensively in 21, and also at Iowa State with Matt Campbell in 19. It was 20. I think that it was a COVID short year, and they broke a lot of. He was a tight ends coach and broke a lot of records there offensively, and also had an All-American tight end.
And
But
Matt Campbell is the guy that you liked and you
I,
mentioned
I, I
in the
really
Auburn
did.
search early on
Yeah, yeah, right. And before it was even a search,
Yeah,
when
right.
when
Before
we were.
the freeze firing.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just like Matt Campbell, and he's young. He's a young guy. He's been there at Iowa State for I think 10, maybe 12 something years, but he's got the all time wins record at Iowa State. But listen, he's not here. So, but Golesh goes back with him, Heupel, and then was hired at South Florida and has been there 3 years. He's gone 7-4, I think, and 7-4, and then what, 9-2? Was that 9-3? Is that the
Nine and
record?
three this year. Goalish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Um, and those 7 wins were 6 win regular season and a bowl win to make them 7.
Hmm.
But South Florida hadn't really done much before that, so you got to give them credit for restoring a program or bringing a program to some prominence. You're right though. What's Auburn going to do? What's the room going to look like next year? To your point, I mean, and that's a very valid point.
It's just a I don't know, what do you call it? A transitory world in college football with
Yeah,
people going everywhere.
but
And
would it have been if Cohen would have hired Durkin?
I think they would have kept a lot of them. I don't
Yeah,
who knows about all of them, but at this point with the goalish hire, I think the guys that are at Auburn, Cam Coleman and excuse me, some of the others on offense are going to look at Alex Golesh and look at his background a little bit and maybe give him a look.
possibly.
But will they stay? Will they
Yeah,
stay in the end? Because he's an offensive guy and it'll be a little different. And who knows who Alex Golesh is going to bring with him offensively. And the other thing we talked about off the air, Brian, is um, obviously John Sumrall was in the mix for a while with Auburn, and then he
right.
pulled his name out. And was that because he had to keep DJ Durkin, maybe Marcus as the wide receivers coach. There were some others that were even mentioned as far as we want to keep these guys on the staff. Don't know if that was true or not from John Cohen, but and I've said this several times, it almost never works when a new coach comes in and you say, we want to keep this guy, and this guy, and he says, okay.
Yeah.
Looks like John Sumrall looked at that and said, I'm going to go to Florida.
But that's not the first time that's happened, correct?
No, it's
In
the last two
Auburn's,
coaches, yeah.
in Auburn's history. And you made a good point yesterday. Pat Dye was the third choice
Yeah.
when he came and was told the same thing, and he said, nope, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring my guys, and I think that's fair for a coach to bring his people. But I do think in this situation, if the coach is smart, knowing the talent and we saw the talent this year, we were close. No, God, I just used that word, close.
Yeah.
We were
close again last night.
We were close again last night. We were close at Vanderbilt. We were close to Coach Freeze's, to use his words. But we were closer than we were with Coach Freeze, I think, at Vanderbilt in Alabama. We were closer.
Yeah. And when you look at the stats from last night, we won that battle. It
killed
doesn't mean a whole lot, but 411 to 280 against Alabama.
Yeah, the two that we didn't win were the two biggest, the turnover and the time of possession.
Yeah.
And that could have been I was talking to one of my coaches at Navarre this morning. He's a huge Alabama fan, and he said the wide receiver room, which is Auburn's probably most talented room that we have, single-handedly lost that game for us. And whether it was drop passes or a fumble or whatever.
Yeah.
But back to the coaching thing.
I'll mention this while we're talking about the game real quick.
Yeah.
Just gut feeling, looking back at the game, watching the game there in person, the two biggest plays to me in the football game, and then obviously the turnovers were big, but the two biggest plays to me were the first quarter, K and Lee gets the face mask call.
Yeah.
Gives them a first down.
That's right.
I thought we had the field flipped there.
Yep.
Okay. And then the other call in the fourth quarter against Sylvester Smith, pass interference. I've looked at that several times, and that is one of the best plays by a defensive back I've seen all year. I don't know how in the world that's pass interference, and how the ref calls it from behind the play like that, I have no idea. But those were the two biggest momentum flippers that I saw in the game last night.
Yeah. And in the pass interference, I don't you're right. It's hard. You can easily argue that one. But Alabama had some pass interference, had some calls that sustained our drives as well.
Yeah.
The face mask call was a huge one early in the game. Like you said, to flip the field, it could have given us a huge field advantage.
Yeah.
And really, there were two other big plays, one in our favor, one not in our favor. I told Coach Lawson, the Alabama fan that I coached with, the Simpson run on fourth down when he looked drunk.
Yeah,
he stumbled over the line.
Right.
That was a huge play. We had about 3 shots at him in the backfield and
going by.
Yep,
like that. Yeah.
And then great play by Ashton on fourth down. The play took about 37 seconds, it seemed like, but to get a first down and I really was impressed with what Ashton did to try to win that ball game. I mean,
amazing effort. Yeah,
he laid everything he had out there.
But with the game in the first half at 10-0 or 17-0, would you have tried Deuce to get a little spark there?
I would have tried Deuce anyway. And we talked about that, I think, going into this week, just to keep Alabama honest, keep them having something. They had to prepare for it, so they had to know that there was a package, but just keep their defense on their heels. And And we saw what Deuce did running the football at Mercer. I know it's Mercer, it's not Alabama, but
Yeah.
we saw what he did,
And
and
that's
you
what
got to respect it.
I thought is I think the two top runners in the game were the quarterbacks
They were.
last night. So, and I thought, well, Deuce might give us a little bit more there running the football. Where Ashton, he's a decent runner, but he's not quite as quick as Deuce, I don't think, and maybe not as elusive.
You know what I thought too is when Cam got hurt, we put Cobb out. We had to flex Cobb out.
Yeah, put him
Maybe
out wide. Yeah,
maybe put Deuce out there.
yeah, and let him
I mean,
run,
why not
throw,
in the
whatever. Yeah,
slot? Just throw it to him right now, because he's an athlete,
yeah,
and Cobb is an athlete. He's a great running back, but let's see what Deuce can do because he can run, and let's see what he can do yards after the catch.
right. And obviously, that first throw to Cam last night was a little bit behind him,
Yeah,
and he kind of limped off the field there. In a couple, I think it was in the second quarter, maybe, I commented on X that I think Cam is hurt,
yeah,
and I think Alabama knows it,
yeah,
but Auburn was kind of still putting him out there as a decoy.
yeah.
So that definitely didn't help. And I thought at that point, I asked a couple people, and they said Perry Thompson did play last night in the first half. I didn't notice him in there,
I didn't
but
either.
I was thinking when we got down to the goal line, where's Perry Thompson? Why don't we put him in there and try to toss it up to him? But
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
happen.
Well, no, it didn't, and I did like, other than in the red zone, we took we took away their top two receivers. I mean, two didn't have a catch last night.
Yeah, amazing,
I know.
amazing defense. I thought when you
Yeah,
look at the numbers.
yeah, and but other than those red, I mean, other than the red zone, where they did throw three touchdown passes. Other than that, I thought we played really, really good football. And then on fourth down, unfortunately, because they scored one on fourth down, and then Simpson had the run on fourth down. You gotta shore that up. But
Yeah,
I thought we played good enough to win the ball game. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened had the fumble not occurred.
yeah,
And that's just football. That was a great play by their free safety, putting the hat. Cam had the ball
two
wrapped
of
up.
them. Yeah, knocked him pretty good there.
Yeah, but the hat was on the ball, and that's where you're
Hmm.
supposed to put it. And I don't think there's anything Cam could have done because he had the ball wrapped up to his chest, and it just was a great hit by
Yeah.
15, I
And
think.
we're coming down the field there. I'm standing on the field right where they're coming toward the end zone. And the one thing I did notice a little bit is the clock management. It
Yeah,
was down to about under a minute, and they're looking to the sideline and whatever. I'm thinking,
yeah,
we got less than a minute. We're not the greatest offensive team in the world. We better step on it a little bit. But anyway, so the game didn't go Auburn's way last night, and I don't know if we talked about that. I can't even remember what we talked about. But as far as the coaching search again, will they offer DJ Durkin? I think they will. Will he stay? Probably. I think that's an offense defense, probably a pretty good mix initially. Will it work in the long term? I don't know. And the other question we've talked about, and you got to think about is Ole Miss open? Is Tulane
yeah.
open? Is South Florida open? And wherever else is open, is DJ going to put his name in the hat there?
I would think you would. There's a ton of schools out there. South Florida's now open.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is open. Arkansas is still vacant. So there's a ton of schools out there, and I think he's earned his stripes, and he's earned to be,
The
to be
opportunity.
in the opportunity to be in the mix
Yeah.
for a head coaching job.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised it only took a couple hours for us to decide this. I mean, maybe we had it done before the Alabama game. I don't know. Uh,
Well, I'm thinking they had some raw, and that's what they were thinking. Cohen was
until he
thinking,
said no.
and he said, "I'm not doing the staff thing because Florida's offered me this." And they said, "Well, Alex Golesh will do it, so he's our guy." Maybe DJ Durkin wasn't even in the mix going into the Iron Bowl.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe they had their top two or three candidates, and one said no, and they went to their second or third. And this may be controversial to talk about, but when do we talk about how we hire coaches and what things hamper coaches from coming to Auburn? We touched on it,
The
but
staff.
yeah, but as far as our board of trustees um, and what they handcuff our coaches coming in. Do they handcuff them coming in and say by saying, "Hey, you're going to have to hire this person, this person, this person. You can't bring in your staff." Do they do that? It sounds like they do. When is that going to stop? Will it stop? I don't know. And if it doesn't stop, will we ever have? Are we going to be Are we going to be here 3 years from now, Doug, saying the same thing?
That's a great question. We got a guy with a Russian background and from the Bronx
From the
now.
Bronx.
So and they told us that Harsin couldn't recruit in the SEC.
So we go back. We go back and get a guy from New York.
Which
Yeah.
I hope it works, and it could work. He seems to be a young guy, an aggressive guy, an offensive guy, and that's one of the things I thought during the game last night. Of course, we've thought about it several times. Our numbers have gone up the last couple of games offensively, but in today's football, there aren't many 7-3 ball games.
No.
You have to score points in today's football, and maybe that was part of Cohen's thinking in bringing in Alex Golesh, who's had success a couple of places, Tennessee, Central Florida.
Offensively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And he was a recruiting coordinator, I think, at Iowa State when he was a tight end coach, and I don't know if he was recruiting coordinator at Tennessee that year, but I do know that's been a tag on his name. My concern is the portal, and how many people can we keep? If DJ leaves, how many people will he take, or just how many organically will leave
yeah.
because they don't know anything about Golesh.
Those
And
guys seem really close to him, don't they, on defense, especially the
oh
defensive
yeah,
guys. But even
yeah.
Ashton Daniels after the game said, how close DJ is to the team.
Coaches are always special to players, and especially when somebody gets fired in the middle of the season, they rally around that second guy. And it just seems like DJ had a special bond with that team, and the team came alive as you see teams do with second coaches in the middle of the season. They came alive at Vanderbilt, Mercer, and at Alabama. So he had something there, chemistry with those kids. And you get that sometimes with a defensive player a defensive minded coach, that you don't get it with an offensive coach.
Yeah.
Because they are so reserved, because they have to be. They have
Yeah.
to think ahead so much.
Yeah. The offensive guys, you mean?
The offensive guys,
Yeah.
they have to
Yeah.
think ahead.
And the other thing, when I mentioned DJ Durkin leaving, Brian, I think of his relationship with Derek Nix and some of the other guys that are on the staff. They have a history at Ole Miss,
They do.
so they coach together there. So if I'm the AD at Ole Miss, that's got to be one of the first things I look at on Sunday morning.
Yeah, and it's probably not a big, huge price tag either,
No,
right? It's not a. It's
guys
not
that
a.
want to coach,
It's not a $5 million price tag per year. Maybe it's a $5 million.
There's
But
not
it's
a lot
$20
under
million.
5 now, but
Yeah, that's true. But it's not a $20 million like Kiffin. And these guys he wants to be a head coach. He would come in and work hard, and do a good job. He's been at Ole Miss. He knows the atmosphere and the culture there, and
might bring some players with him.
might bring some players with him. And listen, they're on the rise. They've got a good situation in Ole Miss. So in a program.
Set up perfectly for somebody to come in.
Do we talk about Kiffin? I mean,
Yeah.
in what we don't know yet.
That's what I was going to mention next is we're talking on Sunday morning here recording, but apparently Kiffin is off to LSU and they're sending the planes for him, but he wants to coach. This is the last I've heard. He wants to coach the playoff with Ole Miss, and you never know how much of this is true and how much is not true, Brian. But
Right.
the piece I read said he wants to coach the playoffs, and if he doesn't get to, he's going to take some of those players with him to LSU immediately.
I don't know how that can happen. If I'm a player first of all, if I'm a player on the team, and he says, "Hey guys, I'm leaving. I've already made my mind up. I don't want you to coach the playoffs."
Right.
To be honest,
Right.
if I'm a player on the team and you're going to quit on me, I don't want you to coach me.
Yeah.
That's just me. Now they may have an affinity to the man, and
I
they
don't
may
think they do at this point.
well, if they're going to leave, if they're going to leave and go with him, then they do.
Oh yeah. Oh, the players, you mean?
The
Yeah.
players, I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
But if they don't, I don't want you to coach me in the playoffs if you're going to quit on me and leave. If
Crazy world though, with all the money out there. You
it's
know.
insane.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane. And how could you not if you're Kiffin, I guess? How can you walk away from 20 million? I've said this before, maybe not on the air, but I really think he'll end up in Florida in 5 years. That's where he wants to be.
Or
He's
we heard
for the
some talk.
pros.
We heard some talk yesterday. Was that you and I talking, or
It was me
somebody
and
else
you. Yeah,
about
it
the
was me and you.
Giants? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
because Jackson Dart is their
Yeah.
quarterback at the Giants.
Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So
he's been there. He's been in the pros before, and being in. Listen, you put Lane Kiffin in New York City, and it's instant media 24/7.
you get that feeling again. I just can't get away from it that Lane Kiffin likes Lane Kiffin, and he
I
likes to be
don't
in the
think it's a
spotlight.
feeling.
And I hate to say it, but it's just a little bratish.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I don't know if I'm LSU or Florida, am I totally convinced that this is the guy to take our program up long term?
Well, he's going to leave.
Yeah, at some point.
He's going to leave. So it's not going to. He's
Can
not
he
going to be
ever?
there 20
Is,
years and retire.
is he ever happy anywhere
No,
for over 3 years?
no.
No,
5 years max.
he wants more to feed Lane Kiffin's ego and
That's
pocketbook,
it.
I think.
That's exactly right.
So
And we've even said this on the air. It's been said in the media. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go to LSU right now just for the fact that it's not just the AD
you have to
that
call the governor,
controls.
right?
Yeah, you've got to now answer to the governor and maybe the legislature. Maybe they have to vote you in or vote you out. So you've got a politic. You got a
Yeah.
glad hand. You got to put on a suit and go up to Jackson.
Well, apparently he talked to Nick Saban
And Pete
overnight.
Carroll. And Pete
Yeah.
Carroll.
And I don't understand that really. And obviously, Urban Meyer has been brought into the John Sumrall discussion. So, but anyway, how do you, it's puzzling to me. How do you advise somebody to go to LSU instead of Florida? It seems like that's a no-brainer to me. It seems like Florida's a better job.
Well, to me, I think they're almost the same, except and I'll explain myself. They're both places that if you don't win in 4 or 5 years, you're going to get fired.
But you get
Um,
$54 million.
But that's exactly correct. He's going to get $100 million per contract.
Yeah.
But you use one against the other to get a bigger contract. If you can go to LSU to get to Florida, or go to Florida to get to LSU. But I think he wants to end up at Florida. Now, one reason I think he talked to Saban is because Saban's been at LSU,
Yeah, of course.
and Urban Meyer is talking to Sumrall because he's been at Florida. Now, but here's the thing: if I'm Urban Meyer, I'm telling Sumrall, go to Auburn. Why would you go to Florida? They're just it's. I think it's a bad job. But is
They
Auburn?
certainly had a lot of turnover lately,
Yeah.
you know.
Is
It's
Auburn right now a better job? I don't know. It's a weird. Auburn's just a weird situation. It's a really weird situation.
almost every spot in college football, even in the SEC. And I stood close to the commissioner last night for a little bit while he was texting in the fourth quarter there. But all of these coaching jobs, Brian, I'm not going to mention any names, but if you talk to these guys behind closed doors,
Yeah.
they'll tell you, that buyout's not a bad deal.
It,
I'm not sure I want to coach in this environment, even if I'm making $15 million a year. It might be better and once you get over $10 million in your bank account, does
Right.
it really matter how much
Right.
more you have?
Well, yeah.
So
And that might be why Lane's leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU to get a bigger buyout, and that might be it. But in DJ will want to be a head coach instead of a defensive coordinator to get a buyout.
maybe he likes crawfish. What do you think?
Lane, maybe it's Juice. Maybe Juice wants to go.
Yeah,
If you
that
follow
could be.
Juice Kiffin
Yeah, go duck
on
hunting or
social
something.
media, go duck hunting in the bayou. But he could do that in the swamp of Florida.
Yeah.
So it's 6-1, half dozen the other to me. But neither one of those. You're right. Any job right now in college football is a weird job. You look at Penn State. I mean, even Alabama. The rumors and what this guy has to put up with at Alabama is he's lost 2 games, and they're already saying he's going to Penn. They're trying to kick him out to Penn State
Yeah.
before
And
the Iron Bowl.
it looks like Alabama will make it now. Uh, we'll see what happens in
Unfortunately,
the SEC championship game. But
I'd love.
what do you
Go
think?
ahead.
I was going to ask you about the SEC and the college football playoff. Sark and Texas and Arch are making their case for the 12-team playoff now.
Yeah,
You think they'll get in or not?
they
Probably
probably
not.
will. They probably will because it's Texas, and it's a lot of money in Texas. It's a lot of. I mean, they used to have their own network. The football team did, or Texas Athletics did, and so I think they'll get in. I would love to see Vanderbilt. Up here. I live up here in Tennessee now, and in Nashville, and
What a game yesterday.
they killed them. And
And I thought I joked during the game. I said, "Well, is Heupel on the hot seat now after a
yeah,
20-point loss to Vandy?"
right.
I
And
don't know what they're saying in the paper up there this morning, but
yeah, and I don't know if we have papers anymore.
yeah, the internet paper,
Yeah,
if
but
that makes sense.
I need to reach out to our friend Bo Dickey, Dr. Bo Dickey, who
Yeah,
we had on the show,
yeah,
and ask him. But a lot of my Tennessee friends were kind of rooting. My Tennessee Vol friends were kind of rooting for Vanderbilt. I mean, they haven't had a season like this,
they're ready
and they
for a
said
change.
they just said if Tennessee can't go, we want Vanderbilt to go.
Oh, wow! I don't think that would
Well,
happen in the state of Alabama.
but it's not the rivalry because
Yeah,
Vanderbilt's never had a team like this.
yeah,
So
right.
you don't have the in-state rivalry that the Alabama Auburn has.
And I saw Pavia and his buddies doing the Heisman pose in the end zone after the game.
The whole offensive line.
Yeah, yeah. That's going to
But
be interesting to see if he can pull that off.
yeah,
I guess he's the front runner now.
I don't know. I've heard now. I mean, I hope he gets. I hope he gets to New York. I don't. But who is the front runner? Who's the front? I mean, is it Mendoza? Is that his name? Up at Indiana.
They're killing it.
I can't remember what his name is, but we played him when he was at Cal two
Mhm.
times, and
Yeah,
now he's one of the Heisman front runners.
I
Pavia,
gotta think Pavia is the guy right now.
Pavia's got the numbers. I mean, he's got the stats, and look what he's done on the field for the last
And I know
4 years.
he rubs people the wrong way sometimes, but
So what?
the kid's a winner, man. He's a
So
winner.
did Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
But it's what you do on the field.
yeah.
It's not a Boy Scout trophy. It's a football trophy.
The
It's the
most
best
outstanding player in the
player
country,
in
right?
college football.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I guess we covered it there. Alex Golesh is the new head football coach. I think the 33rd, they said, at Auburn University. I'm sure we'll be talking more about that, Brian, and hearing from him probably tomorrow. I think the planes, they said, were going to pick him up and bring him back to meet with the team this afternoon and probably introduce him tomorrow. So interesting picks, interesting times.
Yeah, and I guess we'll after the press conference we'll probably do this again, maybe one or two times this week, and get some reaction from other people
Yeah.
and see where it leads. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see some of the games, some of the conference championships, and then see where the playoffs land.
Yeah. Don't forget to join us on wareagletv.com. You can get our X page and our YouTube page right there. Like and subscribe. if you want to watch some more videos, and we will follow it right here. Brian, always good to talk, and War Eagle, my friend.
My pleasure, Doug. Thanks, War Eagle.